Hey, what's going on, y'all? We are back, and of course, we've got the new Datamines here for the Ilya banner. So we got the Hall of Forms, and then we have the stats for the new units, and that's pretty much it. No more Tempest Trial stuff to talk about, unfortunately, because there's no Tempest Trial units anymore. It is what it is. You can go ahead and send in feedback and see if maybe they'll decide to change their mind, but I wouldn't hold out too much hope on that, because they obviously did it as a conscious decision. So why don't we go ahead and start us off here with the stats, of course, from Gengar and Tsukasa. So here we go. What is it again? Cure for Shyness. So I guess, well, Florina is shy. Hilda is not so much. Maybe Hilda is going to teach Florina how to not be shy. Is that what's going on here? Okay, so Hilda and Florina, we have here Flying Colorless Bow. Stats are 40 HP with a Bane. We got 49 attack with a Boon. 48 speed, 40 defense, and then 17 res with a Bane. Overall BST is 194, which is a little more relevant for them than Duo Heroes because Harmonics don't get the BST increase, although you could now give them the blessing from Chosen Heroes, which would give them a dual skill. So yeah, whatever, all that stuff is whatever, but as far as how good this unit is, I think they're actually pretty good. They give a lot of support. They give the new Coax effect, which Coax is pretty much just a dummy effect. It's the same thing as the Aleer. I think it was the Summer Aleer that had Bonded Blast, or whatever that one was called, where you grant the status effect to an ally, and the status effect actually doesn't do anything. It's just a dummy effect to allow your unit then to enable whatever effects they've got going on. So in the case of that Aleer, she had effects on her special that would activate on the unit that had the Bonded Blast support effect. And here on this Hilda, we're giving Coax, and the effect of Coax is pretty much 7 true damage, as well as Brave attacking if the enemy doesn't trigger save. Or I think if it's your unit doesn't trigger save, right? Something like that. I think it's the same condition as Marissa, Desert Marissa, right? Where you get the Brave as long as you don't trigger save. Pretty much. So, yeah, very powerful effect there, and of course, you may want to argue in favor of the Erica Ring over this, but obviously the Erica Ring does lower your damage a little bit. You take -4 attack, and then also with the Erica Ring, you can only use it on melee units, whereas Coax is going to work on ranged units. You're not lowering attack. In fact, you're getting 7 true damage out of it, and so on and so forth. They also are a crazy rally bot where they can rally and then take another action, and they've got a ton of support debuffs on their weapon as well as their B skill because they came with favor. So, yeah, just a lot of good things about this unit, but I don't actually think they're a must-pull. I think if you want to skip, you're free to skip. There's nothing here that's, like, out of the norm. And since we talked about them, we might as well do the artwork at the same time here. So, there's their artwork, Florina and Hilda. They look very cute. Actually, they look like they're drawn by 2 completely different artists. Because if you look at Hilda's face and then Florina's face, they look completely different. It's like 2 different artists drew each one of them. Alright, so here is the attacking pose. Pretty nice. It's actually nice to see Florina doing something. It kind of looks like Florina was going to be the main unit there, because she looks like she is the main unit attacking, and then Hilda's the backpack there. Alright, then we have the special attack. Okay, and then we got the injured art. Once again, Florina looks like she's the one in charge here, because she's in the front. She's the one blocking the attack, while Hilda is, like, kind of hiding behind Florina there. So, I wonder if they originally intended Florina to be the main, and then because of Three Houses bias, they were like, Hilda's probably going to sell more, let's just make her be the main. I don't know. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that in the comments section down below. Alright, next up we have Azura, who is going to be our next dancer with the crazy support. She's pretty much in the same tier as units like Halloween Peony and also the Bunny Plumeria. I still think Bunny Plumeria is better, because she does have the dance button, but I mean, this Azura is pretty interesting. She does have a 2-range dance skill, which may or may not actually be what you're looking for. It kind of depends on the situation. So we have here 36 HP with a Bane, 42 attack with a Bane, 48 speed, 16 defense with a Bane, and then 48 res with a boon. The res boon is good because she does want to be winning res checks for some of the passives that she's got there. And then we have 190 BST overall, which is actually not too bad for a dancer, but it's not so great for a flying melee type in this day and age. Like Grommel, for example, is like a whole 2 BST bins higher than that. So, yeah, not really much to say about scoring for her, but as far as support, obviously she's very good. She gives the drive exposure. She gives, what was it, Draconic Hex on her assist dance after she pops that, which is nice. And there's not really a lot of ways to get Draconic Hex. It's pretty much just the baby duo Corrin, like the Hansel and Gretel Corrin. I think they're one of the more noteworthy units that give Draconic Hex. There may be like 1 or 2 others, but yeah, it is a pretty cool effect to be getting on a unit you might actually be using for once. And then they do have Ploy Crux, which is a nice C skill for debuffs. So yeah, not a bad dancer, but also not a necessary dancer. And in general, I've actually completely phased dancers out of my rotation. I don't really run dancers anymore, because nowadays the main offensive units just have so many actions that it doesn't matter. So here's the artwork. Pretty good artwork. I actually do like the Ilian theme outfit for her, because it actually does fit. It looks like this could have been Azura's original outfit, and it would have looked perfectly fine there. All right, the attacking artwork. Very nice. And then finally the injured artwork there. I like how her lance has a little ribbon. It's like for extra cuteness, she tied a ribbon on the lance. Okay, sure, Azura. All right, moving on, we have Minerva, who's going to be the demo. Very nice artwork for her, actually. Why don't we check the artwork out right now? Because this might be my favorite artwork on the banner overall. She looks really tough, and I do like the tough baddies. Her axe looks pretty cool. I like that she has these 2 little, I don't even know what to call it, like the sashes, the 2 sashes on the back. Pretty nice. All right, the attacking artwork from her. And we got the special attack. Nice effect there. I actually like that. With the red feathers, that's a nice touch. Then we got the injured art. Again, pretty nice artwork. So, yeah, overall, this is probably my favorite art on the banner. And Minerva does have a really good track record where it seems like all of her demoted alts are actually pretty good merge projects. Like the baby Minerva from the original baby banner, and also the bunny one was pretty solid too. The bunny Minerva, who has great artwork as well. So the red dragoon Minerva here. So we got here 41 HP with a Bane, 47 attack, 48 speed with a boon, 45 defense with a Bane, and then 19 res neutral, and then 200 BST overall, which, yeah, this is more in line. This is tied with Grommel, and she does have a preference A skill and weapons, so she could technically score in the same bin as Grommel. Now, is she actually as good as Grommel? That's a little up for debate, because, I mean, that guy, he's got a bunch of shenanigans going on. He's got the range attack with the style. He's got the chip damage that he does at the start of every turn up to turn 3. And then he's giving, like, damage status effect support to allies that either have a lot of damage on them or they're fighting an opponent that has a lot of damage, which he already does, right? He's already damaging everybody. So, honestly, I don't think it's worth spending orbs, because you do have to summon on her. She's going to be a seasonal demote, which that does take a little bit of the value away, considering you're going to have to dump orbs into her. But I don't think she's a bad unit. She has a pretty good A skill. She has a pretty solid weapon, and artwork checks out. She's a pretty popular character. So don't count out the red dragoon. What does dragoon even mean, by the way? Like, I've heard that a couple of times. It's not just like Fire Emblem. A bunch of games have dragoon. Like, what is a dragoon anyway? How is it any different from a dragon? Like, is a dragoon just like a dragon who goons? That doesn't seem like something you want to brag about, but yeah, I don't know. If you guys in the comment section know what a dragoon is, like what does that even mean? Let me know, because I'm actually interested now. All right, and then finally we have Mia over here, who has a million, billion, zillion alts for who knows why. Well, I'm not going to lie, I do know why, because A lot of people like to waifu her, but I don't know. Path of Radiance is out right now. It's on the eShop, and if you played the game, you'll notice that Mia doesn't really do much. So here are her stats. We got 40 HP with a Bane. We got 45 attack, 49 speed with a Boon, 45 defense with a Bane, and then 21 res. Overall BST is 200, so pretty good. Now, Mia also seems like a pretty solid unit. She has a crazy out-of-the-box kit. She has Heavenly Soar right out of the box, which is nuts. And then they also gave her Edelgard's C skill already, which is pretty nice. So, yeah, I mean, this unit's really good. I don't think there's anything bad to say about her. It's just that, again, just similar to Emblem Edelgard, I feel like she's being carried kind of hard by her base kit. But she does also give the reflex support, and she's giving a new status effect, True Insighted, which you should be able to stack with regular Insighted to just get a dummy amount of stats for no reason. I'm also predicting there's just going to be a true variation of every status effect now as well. So expect True Reflex in the future and like all that nonsense. They're just going to slap True on the front of it and then call it a day. Like True Warp Bubble is going to block Pass, and then they're going to invent True Pass, and it's going to stop True Warp Bubble, and we're just going to keep going back and forth. But yeah, I digress. Here is Mia's artwork. It is pretty good. The Ilian outfit does fit her pretty well, actually. It doesn't look all that much different from her regular outfit, actually, but I don't know. She does definitely look more like a Pegasus Knight here. And then her original art made her look more like a Myrmidon, which is what she starts as. I like the feather effect there once again. And then there we go for the injured artwork. So, yeah, I actually like this theme. Hopefully they'll keep it up and do some more interesting and unique themes with the seasonal banners in the future. Because this slot used to be the Desert banner, now it's the Ilia banner. Probably going to be a different theme next year as well. So, yeah, just more unique themes is nice. These are going to be our Tempest Trial seals, and the prize is going to be Nino, as we already knew. So, Wyvern Flight as a Sacred Seal, and then Dive Bomb as a Sacred Seal. Pretty interesting. Yeah, Dive Bomb is basically Desperation without any HP conditions, which is cool, but there's actually a lot of ways to get Desperation right now anyway. So, I don't actually think this is that big a deal. And then Wyvern Flight is interesting too. I believe it gives you 7 points of true damage and true DR, which is kind of interesting for a Sacred Seal. Actually, yeah, that is pretty good for a seal, right? Huh. Well, it's not better than Blue Skies as a seal, but it's still pretty good for a seal, like overall. Because you're not going to give Blue Skies to the whole team. You can only give it to one unit. So then another flyer you might just give Wyvern Flight to. You do have to win stat checks, though, to get the true DR and true damage, but it is there. It's pretty helpful. So, yeah, there we go for the seals. And then finally, let's just refresh, make sure we didn't miss anything, and then we'll... Oh, we have a customization pack. Okay, so it was a good thing that I actually decided to reset there. Okay, so what do we got going on here? $8.99 US for 22 orbs, and it looks like 2 character backgrounds here. So this is the first one. Where is this? Is this, actually, I think this is in Asgard, right? Like the Book 9 territory, because it kind of looks like it. Yeah, and here is Asgard at night. I like the background there with the, like, kind of Milky Way looking thing in the sky there. Yeah, not too bad. These are always whether or not you like them enough to buy them, but it would be nice to get some more of these for free. You know, like just as... If they're going to give us 4,000 shards instead of giving us 2 copies of Nino, like, why not give us a castle background or a character background or something in that slot instead of just 4,000 shards? There's any amount of rewards they could put in that slot as opposed to the shards, and I'd be happy. But, yeah, I digress, guys. That's pretty much everything for these data mines. Oh, before I forget, let's take a look at the Hall of Forms here. So, courtesy of Ree for this one, we have Spring Carla, We got Fallen Ursula. We got Fallen Nurgle, and then Fallen Lloyd. So lots of Fallen heroes here. Spring Carla has not gotten her refine yet, so if you wanted to pick her up in there, that would be a gamble. She actually does have pretty good groundwork, because, like, Carla with a refine, if it ends up being a good refine, could actually put in some work. But there's no telling if it's going to be a good refine or not. And then Nurgle, obviously, he's got his Essence Drain, which is great, but actually, I guess it is kind of back, right? Because both of the snakes, the Needhoggers, have fallen off. They're not really meta anymore. So, without the direct counter to Essence Drain, I guess maybe Nurgle is kind of back. And then with how many actions these units take nowadays, like, you can easily just go ahead and initiate with a unit. Like, let's say Emblem Edelgard, for example. She attacks, and she's very likely to live, given her bulk. She attacks, and then she just steals all the bonuses, and then you still have 2 extra attacks to go, and now you've gotten all the stats out of the opponent. So, yeah, that Nurgle might actually be a real legitimate option. And then Fallen Lloyd, who is, I mean, at this point, he's looking for a refine. He was cool when he came out because he scored pretty good, and he was like a legitimate god sword back then, but not right now. So, yeah, unfortunate for Lloyd. He's no longer the guy, but if he gets refined and they treat him well, he might actually be able to do something. And he is easy to +10. Like, compared to the rest of the units on this banner, you actually can get a +10 Lloyd fairly easily. So, yeah, I'm going to definitely go ahead and do a video talking about these guys later. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will catch y'all again on the flip side.